not dropping the f-bombs.
I'm sorry.
You think you could do that?
Oh, is this a family show?
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's for everyone. It's for the family. It's for the kids. It's for the family pet. It's for just about everyone. So it's for everyone, man. Everyone needs a dose of get it. You know.
The young and the old.
You know,
and everyone in between.
Everyone in between, and you know what I don't get.
You sound like a stand-up comedian. You know what?
You know what I don't get? Get it.
I don't get.
You know what I don't
these
get?
Girls trying to.
You know what I don't get? I don't get like how in YouTube you can get copyright strikes when you try to share like a new track and be like, "Hey, I really like this music. This is a discovery process." So we had to open up with a royalty-free track, which honestly wasn't that bad. I mean, I don't think it was essentially.
Yeah, there's some future bass.
It's
future trap.
It wasn't entirely. It wasn't bad. It was interesting.
Look, it's new.
I don't know.
They're actually stepping up their game. They have a lot of new tracks.
See, but I feel like that's cool. But I. Less than 15 seconds. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really obnoxious, and I'm probably gonna go back to doing it and seeing if I get flagged again. You know, and people probably think that I'm crazy, and they'll be like, "Whoa, if you get a copyright strike, what are you gonna do?" And I'm just gonna deal with it, like I deal with everything else. And yeah, it's a little obnoxious at this point where all these automated systems are in place to where you don't even have like, it's just like boom, the hammer just comes flying down via automation, and there's not much you can do.
Yeah, I don't have a huge issue with it as far as music, because that the algorithm there is pretty accurate. But
but if I want to share stuff,
when it like take things to get taken out of context, like you say something out of context and YouTube registers the word, like one of my
penis,
videos, like
vagina.
You know, there's a comedian guy and he thought we were talking bad about YouTube because he mentioned YouTube in a negative
twerk
light. But I'm like, if you watch the context of it, it's actually not that bad. And yeah, I just want more humans to, you know, to be monitoring this stuff and not robots, because robots aren't.
Well, that's fine, yet. But I think that just the idea is like, where's the line that's drawn where it's like, all right to share, like, hey, listen a little bit of this track, and like, I'm not trying to upload it and it's in raw form, and so you can download the music and you can just pirate it or whatever you want to at this point.
I think we shout out the artists, you know.
Yeah, but I want to expose the flavor. Give me a little flavor. You know, I'm here to bring it to you.
We market, you know.
I'm here to bring it to you. You know, and I want to kind of have a little bit of and I think I was telling you this the other day. So when I was doing a lot of gaming stuff in the gaming industry, I would be told, like, here you go, here's a trailer, right? Here's your media access for the trailer. Present it, give it to the public, to the gaming public, whatever. So I was like, awesome, I got all this new stuff. I'd see what's available. I'd get told like, hey, spread the good word about this, whatever. And then, excuse me. So basically, I would do that, and then a few years later, and this is still happening today. Today, this is still happening, where I uploaded something that I was given permission, that I had a right to upload, and I was promoting myself, right? And then I would get a copyright strike. This is somebody else's content, and the music would be like, so it was a double content strike. Oh, we're putting ads on it for somebody else. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me at this point. I'm like, I'm the one that went ahead and I went into the program. I contacted media departments. I had access. I paid somebody to download it. And then I paid somebody to like fuse the video into like the introduction that we did. We did all this stuff, and we paid to do it. And then now they're just ripping it away and saying, oh, yeah, well, it just so happens that this company owns it, this company owns it. But it was presented in a fashion where it was it was in a creative fashion where it was like, yeah, we're not saying it was ours, but we're presenting it to the public. And what about us? What about us? What is that? That doesn't make a difference now that that we've uploaded it, and I still get copyright strikes, and I just ignore it. I'm not copyright strike. Well, I guess it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's a strike, but they just throw it on the account now, and I don't even bother replying to it. I'm like, I don't even have the energy or the time to do that. I just don't have it. So I don't even bother. But
what I have an issue with is like you see these movie reviewers and they're actually reviewing video games and movies and other people's work, and it's like that everyone has a right to talk about the work,
the journalistic,
and yet some people get, if their movie's not getting great reviews and it's not a huge movie and they're trying to sell it, if someone talks bad about it, that what is perceived to them to be bad publicity for the piece of art, piece of content that they're trying to sell, then I don't know where I stand on it, because you can't have an opinion and you can't tell people, you can't recommend games or movies or whatever.
Well, it's the same
to
thing.
people.
It's the same thing with music. Like, so I'm, instead of recommending, like I was obviously back in the day recommending a lot of games and stuff, but now I'm recommending music. So I don't understand why I have to get penalized for exposing people. You should be paying me to spread the good word, but like not even asking for payment. I'm just not asking to get harassed, digital harassment.
Yeah, that seems to be a big
and there's no happy medium. It's a very blanket statement. Oh yeah, you could reply, you could tell them what you do, but in the end, some guy somewhere who's honestly probably not making as much money as the people who are in charge are looking at it and just glossing over it, not like just hitting a button and be like, oh no, this is not qualified, this is not, and you're like fighting back and forth, and it's a dirty game, man, and we're all playing by it. And I hope for 2020 kind of changes as the time goes on. I hope that, I don't know. It's become such a machine, a monster at this point. And I talked about this on some of the digital marketing stuff, that at this point in time, Google is the number one search engine still. And then number 2 as search engine is YouTube. And number 3, and essentially for products, is Amazon. So,
wait, how does that, how do you differentiate YouTube from Google in terms of, Google, YouTube searches come up on Google.
It's intent. So, like, people search Google, right, for general things, and they get a surface layer, and unless they type specifically what they're looking for, and they get surface layer information. And then, like, they go to YouTube to find out it kind of like how it relates to how people are understanding and explaining it. Because sometimes when you read a document, you don't really understand it.
When you say it's Google than YouTube, like, if you search on, Google, like, there's YouTube links, and then there's
sometimes YouTube links, sometimes there's not. So you have to click on the videos button at the top. So if you look at the, and I don't want to make this a search marketing lesson, but essentially, if you go to a Google page and you type in, there it is, crypto. Let's say you go to Google and you type in crypto, cryptocurrency. That's it. Just type that in, right? And then you're gonna get that, right? You might get some top stories, right? Those are like media information. And then there's no videos. Now, if you click on videos, you see that little tab right there. Bam! Yeah, so you get videos, and now you get videos. And people don't like the results than that. They want to know something deeper, and they'll go to YouTube and be like, oh. after the rise of Bitcoin to like 19, almost $20,000 per unit per coin, and it hit, right, and everybody's like, hold, don't worry about it. They were feeling like, it's just gonna go up, it's gonna recover, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that, and people essentially, they're like, no, hold on to it, because the more, like, if you get scared and everybody comes out of the market, right? Everybody comes out of the market, it drops the market specifically because everybody's like rushing to get out. Everybody's just like, oh, I need my money. Boosh, it doesn't become liquid. Well, it actually does become liquid if you have it in an exchange.
Waiting game.
But that's basically what it was. I could be wrong. I understand. That's what I learned.
No, that makes sense.
By no meaning am I a... Early 2012, right? Late 2012. But 2013, 14, kind of like wrote it off. It was like this whole thing. And then, it started getting steam. Just fast forward everything. Then it became Silk Road. You got all these people. And, this is kind of actually moving into our next... I didn't want to get into it right this second, but I guess I will. I'll talk about it first. So the future of crypto in general is kind of fucked up. It's really kind of fucked up. But it's not really going anywhere. Meaning, like, I don't think it's going to disappear. Okay. But I think a lot of people are going to lose money. This is like straight up gambling at this point. at this point in the game. Now, like anything else, when you gamble, right, you get the opportunity to make quite a bit of money, right? Like if you have an investment and you take a gamble, you have the ability to make quite a bit of money. And in 2017, to its meteoric rise, at almost 20 grand, if you got in early, you got Bitcoin for $2,000-$3,000, if that. And you made like a ton of cash, and especially if you cashed out at the peak, right? You made a ton of money. But if you didn't and you hodled like you yodel, and you hold on for dear life, then that became a little bit of an issue because you started losing thousands, especially if you had bought in at like the higher rates of like 8, 9, 10, 11,000. I mean, because it went as far down, it crashed over the course of 6 months from that time, over the course of 6 months to historic lows, back to what before it actually, well, we won't say historic lows because it could have been like 50 cents, right? But it went down as far as 3,500 to where essentially I actually would have made money still. Like I bought in for less than $3,500 when I dabbled in it. It was for $3,500, and it still would have been a decent investment at that point. You know what I'm saying? Even if it went down as far as $3,500. I mean, it's not as much as you want it to be. I mean, it sucks because again, the people who spent $8,500 and then like their whole idea was like, oh, I'm gonna make my money, or I'm using money that I really shouldn't be using to do investments. And they lost them a lot of money because their end goal is totally different than the hodlers. I totally get the thought process, but a lot of people, they don't have like $10 million in or even like, I don't know, let's say something like $100,000 or $50,000 in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, to where they need that money eventually. They may need that money. And if they are playing with scared money and all of a sudden they lose like 3/4 of it in 6 months and then something happens, then that's a bit of a problem. So again, the people who got in early in the game made a ton of cash, right? They made a ton of money. But then essentially, like, now they kind of run the show, and they're kind of controlling the ebbs and flows of the market. And that's why I feel like a lot of the future of crypto is happy. It's got so much mixed emotion. It's insane. It's like a total roller coaster. Because if you look at that, if you invested in early in the game, like, you made a ton of money, maybe you lost money, but you never actually lost like your pants. Like, you always made more. If you went in at the top, if you came in at like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, you still would be losing money today. You still would be losing, because right now, what is hold on, I'll tell you what Bitcoin's at. What's Bitcoin at right now?
You said 76.
Is it really back up to 76?
That's what you said.
Oh, that was earlier.
But
so it's back. Okay, so right now it's at $7,098, $7,098.61 based on. So right now it's gonna be bouncing around. So it bounced around to 65.
Right here, yeah.
So $7,000.
Wow.
So originally, if you had bought in at 35, or you hodled through 2017, 18, you still doubled your money from 2017. As a 2-year investment,
Dude.
any stock, there's very few stocks on the market. If you had picked a stock, very few stocks on the market that you would have been able to double your money. You may have made 10%, 15%, 20%, but 100%, I don't know, bro. There's not too many. Now,
why is crypto something that you should invest in? Like, why is it an it's not intended to be an investment.
No, it actually is intended to be a store of value, where I feel like, see, that's what I
decentralized.
Yeah, so it's like, oh yeah,
not
I have
even
currency,
store of value,
I have
just
money.
like a system, like a verification system that, I mean, the idea of the blockchain is all these computers are linked together, and it's so secure. I mean, it started out as a security thing, right? Like,
yeah, it's like a payment.
It's crypto.
It's a processing
crypto
system.
Means
it's a payment. It's basically to dumb it down. It's a payment processing system. And
no,
what people
it's not though.
Yeah,
like crypto. When you say crypto, the word means like cryptography. It's like a hard to break into system of exchange.
But how do you put a value on it initially?
How do you put a value on it?
Correct.
On what?
You're putting a value in crypto, right? Like, so crypto say, hey, I have this idea. I want to buy X.
The idea of
you have
cryptography,
to buy into it. Yes, you have to buy into it with some type of currency. You have to physically buy into it.
Or you can make it yourself.
Or you can make it
yourself.
You
can have an ecosystem that,
but,
you can make get it.
But what is that
the get it coin.
Yeah, you get it coin. But but if you look at it though, the basis is, but you're only making it based on other transactions. So you're vetting other people's transactions, right? Like so it's a payment processing. When I mean it's a payment processing, meaning it's the checks and balances that are going on.
Checks and balances. That's
it's a checks and balances, but that's what payment processing is. Payment processing says, okay, this person has a card, they have a certain amount of credit, with let's say Discover. You slide it. Now it says this is used $25. Communicates to another computer. Says okay this. Then it goes. Dude, it's a very complex network. Like the entire credit card system. Like you don't even realize what happens. But it's like from the time you have your card to the bank to like all these different ledgers they're all hitting ledgers. Credit card processing hits probably like 10 different ledgers. And then there's other people, intermediaries, the credit card processing like ISOs that are making money. Like the processors that are making money on your transaction. That's why you get like 2% back, and that's how you get your money back. You're getting 2% in your reward cards. The merchant's getting charged 2 to 3%, so they're covering you, so they're spending their money. So like it's like a whole infrastructure. A lot of people don't know how it really works, but crypto kind of like blew that cover open.
Versus crypto.
What?
You're talking about like credit
card transactions, like debit, credit card, like physical payment card. We call it the payment card industry, PCI. We learn a lot of stuff here. So PCI, the payment card industry, is essentially a structured, locked, and checks and balances like cryptocurrency is. But the only difference is it's controlled by a handful of people, like corporations.
Of course.
It's controlled by like
and it
at
changes
this point by probably like
the value of it changes.
The banks and 5 or 6 different corporations.
Not the value, but the amount that exists in the world consistently changes.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying, that essentially crypto is a global, open-ended payment processing service that you're paying other people.
When you say crypto, though, that's not what crypto is. Cryptocurrency is a subset of
I'm sorry, but we're talking about
cryptographic, which means
I understand that, but you're holding. Yeah, okay, I understand what cryptography is and cryptographic, but we're talking about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency in itself is
highly secure,
supposedly store of value. All right, and that's the way it was supposed to be meant. But
no, it is secure. It is not. It's not supposedly.
Well, I mean, say supposedly because some people get tricked into like getting shit, and we'll go into that. You know, like when people get hacked and like they get their, you know.
Oh, it's very hard to actually hack. Well, I mean, you can pretend to be different.
Yeah, socially engineer and like that's what I mean by hack. It's a lot of ways to hack. Then you can life hack, you can computer hack, you can data hack.
But anyways, like what's your advice? So in terms of that.
So the problem is so this is a problem and advice. So the thing that happened here is that it originally started out as a store of value, and everybody wanted to. But like anything else, a store of value has to be funded with something.
Shit. I just want to just a quick shout out to VRX Connect for commenting and watching. Sorry I missed you, buddy. My buddy J Dubs, Jonathan Williams. Anyways, continue.
So essentially, it has to be funded from somewhere, right? Just like the dollar. The dollar is funded by the gold, which is probably been
what do you mean
washed
funded
away
by? It's from somewhere.
So the reserve, you know, and a lot of people may not know how this works, but like basically, money is backed by gold. But that's why we have such a high rate of inflation, because there's less gold than there is the physical money.
No, it's a physical.
It's a So they had to fund the money. So they said, okay, we're going to give you X. It's an exchange of value. So anything else. So in order to get
when you say funding in terms of cryptocurrency, there is no funding.
You're funding you're placing X into it. So
it's I think of it, or I mean,
yeah, but how you think of it, how it really works is totally two different things.
I mean, I think of it as like, people bought in, like it's
exactly.
It's
all about
it.
People bought in.
It's all about believing in nothing, basically. Like everyone.
Well, what the fuck
like
is gold, bro?
It's
like
somebody
goes into the earth and pulls it out and be like, I want to pay for your time and service for you, sir. Okay, here's some gold shillings. And then, like, all of a sudden you get some gold shillings, and you're like, I will send you my daughter. This is a dowry. Like, you know, like, this is, like, that's some shit random, like, stones out of the earth. Like, why the fuck is that, like, an exchange money? I could... Like literally, I can tell you.
I'm not talking. I'm talking more broadly, like in terms of like.
I'm talking about broadly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Dude,
you're buying into it. You just said it though. You're saying it's just like fabricated.
It's I would say a platform maybe is a better word for it, because like you don't. I mean, yes, you exchange things, but you also like. I mean, it's not just money. It's information. It's
we're talking about Bitcoin though. Let's not talk about the whole.
It's the same.
We're not talking about every single. They could use the technology, the underlying technology, to do information and this and that and checks and whatever. We're talking about specifically cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
You can't not talk about blockchain if you talk
about
that.
Blockchain's an underlying technology. It's like your processor. And like AMD, it's like, well, who's AMD? What's an AMD do? And it's a silicon. What's silicon? You know what? Everything is silicon chips, silicon this, silicon that, Silicon Valley, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about what the application use is.
Well, yeah,
the application
you're
use
just equating it to like stocks and just regular investments.
Well, that's what it is. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because that's what's happening.
That everyone is gonna transition to in like 10 probably years. Like everyone's gonna go into the blockchain. Everything's gonna be. I mean, ideally, who knows if government parties will allow that to happen, but if there's the demand for it, if everyone, it's just like a social network. If Facebook.
Well, that's why the government wants to stop.
Facebook could probably create their own currency, and most people would use it.
Very dangerous.
It's like,
very dangerous.
Then you trade it within Facebook, and you're basically, however much value Facebook can provide for you is exchanged.
Yeah, so if they
platform.
become the platform and the marketplace, and they came out with their own cryptocurrency, which they're trying to do, then it's so easy for people to send, oh, yeah, I have an account, do this, send that, send this, send that. It becomes very, very easy for them to take over that market. It gives them a lot of control of the store of perceived value and the exchange of that perceived value for goods or services. And I don't think anybody, and I don't think anybody wants Mark Zuckerberg in charge of the exchange of goods and services for perceived value. What about you?
Oh, for sure not.
Okay. So, with that in mind,
oh shoot.
We have some black we have some black bars and random things going on.
I just want to so I don't have to switch all the time. I'm gonna
You're gonna just do a little pre-program action. So,
anyways, next topic. I don't want to keep this.
Well,
too
but
long,
anyway, we're gonna finish up because I didn't finish, man.
I'm sorry.
So
you told me to keep on time.
Well, yeah, no, I totally hear it. So all I'm saying is that the future of crypto is that going into 2020, going into the next 10 years, going into all this. There it is, just this hue like straight away. It's like, oh, hey, what's up? And there you go.
Hey there.
So ultimately, it's not going anywhere. Problem is right now, it's that it's being controlled by, and that I'm not gonna say control. Let me rephrase that. It's being influenced, heavily influenced by people who have lots and organizations that have a ton of Bitcoin. So when they sell and they pushes all the small guys out and they buy and then they raises the price and they just pump and dump, and it scares people. And then really the hodl is actually your best friend unless you start day trading or you just feel
like sounds like Hodor. I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but
Hodor.
Hold the door. Spoilers. Anyway.
The hodl is actually kind of like an important thing because if you did and you were at that point and you could buy the dips, like you definitely want to buy the dips, but when you go in, don't use money that you're gonna need to like in like you think that you're gonna need in like the next 8 to 12 months. You just say goodbye to it. Just say goodbye to it. Don't make it like a 401k, man. Don't even like. Or like a retirement plan. Just throw it in there. And then eventually, you know what? If it goes up, great. If not, then it's better. It's better than keeping your money in the bank. Because the money in the bank ain't going to do anything. Some bank accounts don't even give you interest on your deposits. Most of them don't at this point. So you're probably better off not putting your money in the bank and putting it either to crypto. Like I said, the market is heavily influenced by like a pump and dump parties. And an example is, it's like, so for instance, Orchid was a new cryptocurrency that Coinbase just launched.
I was gonna say, do you want to mention any of the cryptos that you're currently you've invested in?
Well, I've done Bitcoin. I've done
you want to give some advice?
A good amount of them. But I see because I know what's going on, like the ebbs and flows and everything's been kind of moving. I knew it was in the morning and they launched it. It was like 34 cents to 23 cents. I'm like, oh, this is going to go up like 300 or 400%, or at least double, right? So I sold out early, but I bought in at that low price and it went up to like almost 70 cents. So if you would have went in anywhere between like that 20 cent mark and almost 40, you would have easily close to doubled your money, if not tripled your money. If you went in at like 20 cents and you went to 70, I mean, you essentially doubled your money, if not more. And if you had like a big amount of cash to invest and drop into that, and then basically be like, whoa, I'm selling out, boof. And guess what you just did? You just pumped the market up, you raised the price, and then right before that, everybody's like, oh, I'm keep going, and then all of a sudden, boosh, you cash out, bam, and then everybody gets angry and upset. People who like or new or hodl mentality, right? They're gonna be pushed out because they're just like, oh, I lost money, I'm just gonna sell. I need the money right now, and that's the problem with the market, because it's not really, because everything is so volatile. Because there is no underpinning there's no underpinning uses. A lot of this is like, oh, we're doing this, and we don't have. There's no accountability anywhere in the marketplace. Meaning, like, if a company goes out of business tomorrow, right? Let's say McDonald's. Let's say McDonald's, starts serving horse meat. Well, maybe they have served horse meat before. I don't know. So, like, McDonald's starts selling horse meat, right? And their stock plummets to the floor. Nobody wants to eat McDonald's. They're not selling any burgers. They start closing locations. All this crazy shit happens, right? What do you do at that point? Like, the company's going to go out of business. Their stock's going to drop to the floor. They're not going to be able to be profitable. And they essentially have...
You get all these cryptos.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Actually, that's not that much. It's not as
There's
much
there used to be more. Some of them just, I think, just like folded up and died. So like, so essentially, McDonald's will go out of business and you'll lose all your investment. But McDonald's isn't going to do that because they're going to stay in business for the next fucking 1,000 years. But the thing is that they have an actual product and service. So the volatility is like, oh, okay, we went up, 10%, we went down 15%. Oh, we went up. I mean, if you went down 20 or 30 or 40%, that means your company is really fucking hurting. Like, you do some crazy shit. And even then, you could still coast at a certain level. But we're going up like this, drop like this, up like this. I mean, look at these spikes, dude. I mean, if you were like clairvoyant and you had crazy spikes, you could make millions of dollars in crypto right now, still with heavy investments, because you can just see the waves. You can see what's coming, because there's no business model behind it. There's no accountability. So it's really all about emotion. And then, you at that moment, if you could create PR and be like, oh, I love it. This is great. This is awesome. I'm starting a new coin. I'm getting everything hyped up. And all of a sudden, everybody just jumps on board thinking that, like, it's going to be good. But, like, what is it doing for anybody? And, you talk about this, and everybody's got this, like, this brainwashing that's going on. Everybody's like, oh, yeah. Oh, it's got all this technology, and it's going to help the world. And it's like, okay, but what is it doing right now?
Nothing.
Exactly. So what is it really worth? I do know, though, but because Bitcoin is basically been grandfathered in as being the originator or whatever, even if there was others, of cryptocurrency, I do know
Satoshi.
I do know that it's probably going to be the one that will wind up having a lot of real value, because they have those ATM machines like we talked about. There are some places that are accepting it. The Coinbase, one of the Coinbase CEOs, just announced a patent to send Bitcoin via email, kind of like how PayPal does it. I mean, PayPal basically sends you money via email. It's like, oh, put your email address in, register. Now you have this. This is money in the the bank. So that makes it easier for people who aren't technically savvy, who don't have like cold storage and all this other bullshit. It just makes it easier for them.
Is it block basis? Is that what it's called?
I don't know what's called. The email
block basis. That's what it looks like.
Oh, I didn't even know that was the name of it. I just had read about it, that he had patented the concept.
Email your coins.
Yeah, so I mean that's like a big deal, because once that happens, it opens up the ease of use for everybody else to start as a store of value, and then people are gonna be like, oh well, I need to fund my accounting.
No service fees, no transaction delays, easy and instant.
So that's actually a big deal. in that industry, and that's what's gonna solidify it. Now, when real money starts getting dumped in here with more and more value, then it's gonna probably wind up stabilizing to a certain extent. Of course, the halvening, this, that, and the other thing. But again, a lot of the people right now have control. The inherited value is being controlled by whoever has the bitcoins, and I don't know. I think that we just have to see, we'll just have to see it, how it pans out. The more value it has is only based on inherently what people are willing to give you for it. And that's it. And right now it's still kind of like that pump and dump mentality. But I'm starting to see it starting to level out. Like it comes down, it goes up, it comes down. But the original intent, which I thought was initially a store of value, it's crossing the lines. It's blurring the lines of being both a store of value and an investment vehicle. So it's like, it's really convoluted. It's like, well, 1 minute it's a store of value. Like if I put $100 in, it may not be worth $100 tomorrow, right? It's not a store of value. If my money, it becomes less than $100 tomorrow and it becomes $75, I lost $25. Storing that was no value to me. So it's just, yeah. And that's why like U.S. currency is, or just greenbacks are like, like knowing if something's $20 and say, oh, it's $20, you give me $20 and be like, oh, sorry, $20 isn't worth that much anymore, and I walk away from you, right? And be like, oh, no, you're gonna have to give me an extra $5. Imagine if you walked in somewhere and then like, you wanted to buy like a chicken meal. Your chicken meal is $20 and you hand them 20, and then like 40 seconds before then they're like, oh, your $20 isn't worth 20 anymore. It's worth like $18.50. I mean, how would you feel about that?
That is literally, that's what inflation is. It has nothing to do with blockchain. But it has everything to do with the value of the dollar. Like it's correct. Because we're exchanging it into cash.
Exactly, and that's what. Now you just cycle it back to where funding. So eventually, if that's the case, then in order for it to stabilize, it has to be fully funded, fully adopted, and then it'll start to stabilize because nobody wants to go somewhere. Nobody wants to go somewhere and buy a chicken meal for $20 and then be told that now it's only worth $18.50 even though they had $20 in their account, in their crypto account previously. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal, That's not something that people want to be
I just want to make sure the stream is
broadsided on,
Keep going. Hang on one sec.
I'll keep going. So anyway, like I said, I think that Bitcoin will be here to stay. I think it's a super risky investment vehicle. If you have money to lose or lots of money to gain, then probably do that. And then, and hope luck is ever in your favor. and then like again, like a lot of the altcoins, those are all straight up just gambling, man. At this point, it's all gambling. But I feel like a lot of it, again, even in the stock market, a lot of it's gambling. But again, this it's safe to say that 90% of the stock market isn't going to go out of business. The companies aren't going to like stop doing things. So yeah. If you get some more coins, maybe get some information that just launched. Get in and get out. Play the game until they make a new one. All right. So moving along, Peachy impeachments. I know everybody doesn't want to necessarily hear about this. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny because if you look at the nonsense, and when I mean nonsense as a whole of the impeachment process, it's just like, you got basically you have Democrats, you have Republicans, literally like it's like them Republicans versus Democrats. It's like chaos. It's like the most chaotic thing ever. Will he get impeached? I don't know. I don't like, just because he's got, you know, now he's going. Now the Republicans are gonna vote the opposite. So it's just really kind of crazy. I don't. It just goes to show you how it's not even about. It's not even about like solving real problems. It's all about personal vendettas in the system, which is pretty sad because it doesn't actually address like the real problems that are here. And I think that's what really needs to happen. I think in 2020 and just moving forward in the next 10 years, I think we need to address real concerns. And I think some of them are being addressed right now. And I'm not really on the fence about anything. I'm just you can consider me the watcher for Marvel Comics. I'm just watching. So it's pretty interesting stuff. But it is so ridiculous. Okay. I mean, so how we doing over there, man?
Good.
Everything's good still?
Yeah, someone said I can't see fix all, but let's check the stream.
You can't what? What can't you do?
Let me just check the stream again.
Let me check. Check 1 2. Oh man.
Might be just me, my mobile not being able to load it.
Really? It's time to raise the bar.
Nah, it's time to raise the internet.
Raise the internet. 5G, 6G, 7G.
Goddamn ISPs, net neutrality, fucking us all, making us.
You just gotta pay the man. You gotta pay.
Yeah.
You gotta pay. That's how it goes. Now you gotta get your gold shillings out. So 2020 predictions.